Hello friends, it's Teri with Teri's Mailbox, and today I'm presenting for cardstock.com. So I created this very patriotic card, and I just thought it was perfect for the upcoming 4th of July celebration. So again, I used several different types of cardstock from Cut Cardstock. So I'll show you the die that I use. This is an older Biggs dies. It's a Sizzix Biggs die, and again, it's the Flag and Stars one. So the first thing I did was I'm ending up using a stencil and coloring in the blue stars. So the base is a piece of natural cougar cardstock. And again, it's already folded in half. And then what I did was I folded the front in half again to have it kind of quartered off there so that I could create that easel step-up card. So again, we'll finish coloring the blue stars, and I used a piece of scrap paper there just as a mask. So there we have our stars, and you can see that fold in the middle of the front, so it'll stand up. I also cut out a line of stars using that same die, and so I wanted gold stars to kind of add a little bit of pop and interest to the front of the card. So again, I used my Versamark and colored the stars, and so now I'm putting gold embossing powder, and then I obviously heat dried it, and there are my stars. So here are kind of all the card parts. So the first thing I decided to do is kind of look at where the flag goes, and I pulled a piece of red, white, and blue striped paper, and I thought that might be interesting to be on the base of the card, because you're going to see that when the easel card stands up, and so just look a little bit blah without something there. So again, I'm adding this red, white, and blue striped piece of paper there, and it's A2 size panel. And so then we'll start playing with my my flag. The flags are cut with wild cherry pop tone is actually what I used. And so we'll go ahead, I cut it 3 times, and I'm going to go ahead and glue those all together, because when the flag stands up, it needed to have a little bit of strength to it. So again, we'll go ahead and add that. Add that card here to the front, so I'm just making sure I've got three layers here, gluing it all together, making sure it's lined up well. And so again, that's going to go there on the front, and then the front will fold up, and then obviously I'll have to trim the flagpole a little bit. So I needed to kind of mark where the glue would go so that the top half of the flag would stand up and not fold over with the card. So again, I'm gluing just the lower segment below the pen lines that I added. Just kind of a handy trick. So again, we'll go ahead, and obviously I turned the flag over so I could make sure I really only glued the part that was glued. And so we'll go ahead and let that dry. And then I'm also adding the blue banner piece. And here's my flagpole. So my flagpole is actually cut with hot fudge cardstock, and then I added some foundry wax that's a new Ranger product, but I wanted my flagpole to have a little bit of metal appearance to it. So I've got my little stars here, and I'm going to cut some of them apart because I wanted to add those to the front again for a little bit more area of interest. So just kind of randomly adding a few flags on there, or stars. I'm looking at the flag. So again, I'm going to go ahead and cut that flagpole off. And so that's kind of how my card's going to work, but I need something to kind of stop it. So that's my next project. So I pulled out these Thinlit dies, and we're going to go ahead and cut July and then the number 4. So I ended up cutting 3 layers, and so we're going to go ahead and glue those all together. I like using stacked sentiments, stacked letters, stacked numbers. It just gives a lot of dimension to your piece. So, and actually it looks like I used 4 layers. I was thinking it was 3 layers, but apparently it's 4 layers. So again, we'll go ahead and get those all together. And they're going to go right there at the bottom. So the next thing I did was I pulled out my Nouveau glaze, which, you know, again, added even more dimension to it and made them glossy. I will say in the end, I had to add 2 stacked blue stripes below the words to catch the top edge of the card, and you'll see that in the very end where I've added the blue stripes. So again, just kind of adding the Nouveau glaze. And then obviously I'm going to have to set these aside to dry for a while, otherwise I'll have a mess. So we'll let those dry. And so I'll come back after they're dry and I'm going to go ahead and glue them to attach to the base of the card. So again, I'm adding just some white glue, PPA glue. And then I always start with the letters at the beginning and the end because that helps me get better spacing when I'm working with lots of letters and, you know, numbers and things. So again, I'm using my T-ruler there to make sure I've got them straight. So obviously I've got to look down on them to make sure that they are straight. So there's that, and we'll let it dry. I'll put an acrylic block on it and it'll dry for a while. So again, here's the final card, and you can see those blue stack pieces that I added on there. So again, very, very patriotic in celebration of the 4th. So again, it's Teri from Teri's Mailbox, and I'm posting for Cut Cardstock today. And again, I'm on YouTube, Blogger, Facebook, and Instagram.